In the last episode, we got to speak with Christina Daves, an inventor of a product that was designed to decorate medical boots. She created a brand new space in the industry. No one had a clue that this was needed. Christina became a do-it-yourself publicity expert, and with her first year in the market, she was able to get into 50 media outlets, all for free. How did she manage this? Check out the last episode. But for now, let's talk to Katy D. In this episode, I get to talk to Katy from Luxembourg. From her LinkedIn, she says she saves people from boring workshops, presentations, speeches, and provide leadership and branding workshops. I recently met Katy and I decided, hey, this is an awesome byline. I absolutely do not like boring workshops or presentations. So she can definitely help me figure out what it is that she does. So here is Katy.
Hello. I feel a bit intimidated with this presentation that you just introduced me.
No, absolutely not. This is very simple. It's just like a conversation. I'm just introducing you to my listeners.
But it's so cool to hear those things about yourself.
I know it's very different, right? When somebody else introduces you.
Yeah.
Because you're used to introducing yourself on a daily basis, or whenever you're giving presentation, you're introducing yourself. But then when you hear from somebody else, like, whoa, that's what I do.
Exactly. That's magical.
Yeah. So tell me, why do you have a shoe up on your head? Why are you talking to shoe as a phone?
Actually, the story is about this. This is literally my trademark. That my friends and my clients told me that definitely the red shoes are your trademark, because wherever you're popping in, doing presentation, doing workshop, doing public speaking, you always have those red shoes.
Yeah.
And so I was like thinking, yeah, that's actually a good idea, a good thing to make it my trademark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking maybe it would be nice to have my trademark on my profile picture.
Absolutely.
And, I told it to the photographer, and girls were like, yeah, how we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually did a couple of shots with me having a phone next to my ear. So standard normal talking.
Yeah.
And then one of them was like, oh, let's change it for the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did. And so it's there. And I have to tell you this, it took me a while since the moment that the picture was taken until the moment to actually post it as my profile picture.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid that people will think that I'm in the shoe business, which I'm not.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, but it's like in the end, it actually creates a nice startup conversations always.
Yeah.
Because people do ask about that.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it's a great
so
icebreaker.
Cool. Yeah, exactly. So it's like I thought to myself that it's actually exactly what I'm doing. So I'm already initiating the conversation without starting it even. Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty cool thing. Yeah. So yeah, that was the long story about the fact that it's just my trademark.
That's a perfect length story. So how did you get into this, and how did you decide that you're going to help people and save people from the boring workshops, presentations?
So that's going to be a longer story, definitely.
That's fine.
But I'll try not to bore you or the listeners of the podcast today.
No, we're absolutely appreciative.
So the idea, like from the beginning, because I studied economics and I really was keen on doing things in finance and so on. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
But there was, like, every time wherever I went and I was doing the job, eventually I was actually doing workshops for people or being a coach or mentor for the startuppers, for those who just came to the company.
Yeah.
Then I had a team that I managed, which was also, I was more guiding them and instead of actually doing the job, because they were there to do the job. So I was the coach, I was the guide. Mm-hmm. Also, the other thing is that I always loved to talk. My mom it was always laughing that since I learned how to talk, I was talking 24/7. So they were, my family was very happy when I actually was sleeping. So it was a peace and quiet at home. Yeah. And after about, I think, 5 or 6 years working in finance, I had a burnout.
Yeah.
I was fed up with dealing with numbers, dealing with things which were interesting, but I had a feeling that I already learned a lot and I felt stuck. So, I'm not the type of person, to sit down and fall into depression.
Yeah.
I started looking for help, support. I got myself a couple of coaches to go through certain things. And I ended up actually doing an MBA, Master in Business Administration.
Nice.
Because I thought to myself, I want to know more than finance, because there is more than finance in the companies to do, and I can do more. And the first week I remember was very intense. And we had classes, from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock in the evening, 7 days. And on the weekend, we had the seminar where we had, finally more time to actually talk to each other. And everybody were like asking me, okay, so what's your background? What you do? I'm like, yeah, I'm in finance. Like, you in finance? No way. You're a people person, you're a performer, and so on and so on. And I think, when 29 people who sits next to you repeats that to you for almost, year and a half, almost 2 years of studies, you start understanding that there is something about it.
Yeah.
And you start looking and digging further. So after getting my MBA, I also get some certifications as a coach, as a business trainer.
Yeah.
And I started figuring out what I can do with the knowledge that I have, and how I can actually help people. And the fact that I've actually been sitting in my life on several workshops, which were extremely boring.
Yeah.
And things that, just you sit through the workshop that should teach you, people management.
Yeah.
And you end up falling asleep in the middle of it. It's
not working.
It's not working, and I will not learn anything from that. And I think it was also a couple of ideas that I got from my MBA school, that things that we had there, the classes and everything, were very engaging. Of course, there were moments when we were sitting in the class and had to, jot down everything that was on the blackboard. But most of the time, they were very interactive things. And I remember even one of the exams was actually an acting exercise,
Oh, nice.
And that was the exam was actually to give a presentation in form of, kind of a theater play, a short theater play, to present a certain information from the book or from the article that we've been given.
Yeah.
And that was so awesome. And I enjoyed that. And I thought to myself, like, if they can do it, why I can't do it? Of course, for the smaller scale and not doing the MBA.
Yeah.
But literally passing that knowledge and that practice further. And literally, that's what I do. I engage people whenever I speak, whenever I present a workshop, provide workshop. PowerPoint is there probably just to time the exercise that we're doing. But most of the time, there are other things that I use. So I let people dance. I let people walk around the office and pick up some things. And sometimes we use balloons. Sometimes we use spaghetti.
Nice.
Sometimes we use Lego blocks for the exercises. And it is amazing how people actually open up. And in the end, how you get the information that, oh yeah, that was a novelty and that was amazing. And I remember this and that. And I remember so much more because it was so fun.
Yeah.
And so it's the moment when you, in the end, you hear people saying thank you with very, big smile, and you can see that they really learned something, and they enjoyed it, you realize that you actually helped. Yeah.
That's really amazing. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You know what's funny is I spoke to another gentleman last week, and
Hmm.
he was telling me that he's an advocate for ADHD, and I saw some of his videos, and he was extremely engaging. Like people
Hmm.
are not looking at their phones; they're not looking at around trying to write something down or doodling, because the speaker was so engaging that everybody was into what
Hmm.
he was talking about and they were paying attention. I was like, that's really cool. And that's something that I see a parallel with what you're talking about, and
Hmm.
how you create your presentations interactive and bringing in different artifacts.
No, I think it's one of the things I've, as I've been through that, and as I've been bored on several presentations and several
Hmm.
workshops.
Yeah.
Um, and also I found that it is my talent to wake up people and
Yeah.
to engage them. And
Hmm.
even if I do a short speech, it is something that I use the whole body to make a story out of it. And
Nice.
that's what really people enjoy, because they are very often people are afraid to um, do public speaking. That's one of the
Yes.
things. And mainly it is because they feel that they will look like a clown.
Hmm.
So honestly, like the moment that I'm coming out and I'm
Hmm.
actually doing a bit of a clown
Yeah.
presentation,
Yeah.
sometimes they get relaxed because they know that they can do more. And further on, next steps, they actually able to do something engaging on their own. Especially for managers that I work
Nice.
with. Later on, they can actually go and they do go and further spread this kind of joy and happiness around, which is
Hmm.
amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's really cool. Um, I, I mean, so public speaking is definitely some of the, one of the scariest things. Like people are more scared of public speaking than death itself, right?
Okay.
It's been talked about in many books and many people, claim that.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I think I'm like literally last week I realized that I am probably one of the very rare people that
Hmm.
I was never afraid of public speaking.
Yeah.
And I remember my first like big speech
Hmm.
when I was welcoming I was in the 8th grade and I was
Yeah.
welcoming the kids who just started school.
Hmm.
And the room is full of parents, teachers, and everybody. And I
Yeah.
have a couple of sentences prepared on
Hmm.
a scrap of paper.
Yeah.
And I remember that the moment that I got out, the microphone started buzzing, and there was a
Yeah.
big problem with it. The technician started running around to fix the new microphone. It didn't work either. So I'm literally standing in the middle, and normally I should probably run away or stress myself out.
Yeah.
But there was a moment when, I think it was the third microphone that was in, and it started buzzing as well. I just moved on the side from the microphone,
Hmm.
and I used my ability and my strong voice to simply project and make people being so quiet that I could literally hear the flies buzzing, outside.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing experience. And I think I was about, 14 at that time.
Hmm.
So, that great experience gave me this confidence that if I can speak in front of, I think it was about 500 people without the
Wow.
microphone,
Yeah.
I can pretty much do public speaking all the
No,
time.
that's an amazing first experience, because
Yeah,
it's those experiences that you build on top of. But
exactly.
if somebody else, if they've never had that experience to speak in front of a large crowd without a microphone, or just being able to do
Hmm.
that, then that's where those things come in, and you realize, okay, this is something crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, and yeah, those kind of moments, like you remember them. Sometimes then you forget because you're following somebody else's dream path
Yeah.
of you being, yeah, like for me, being successful in finance, that didn't work that much
Mhm.
for me. But then when you start working on yourself and on what is actually why you are actually here on earth to do
Mhm.
things, you're finding out those stories from the past and realizing that it was actually a very strong experience and strong positive
Yeah.
experience you can grow on. And like I remember when I first told that story to a couple of my friends, they were like, "Oh my god, that's so awesome! I
Yeah.
would probably freak out."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I could have freaked out, and I was most probably I do remember that I was stressing, but I think I was more stressed with the fact that the technician cannot manage the microphone
Yeah.
than the fact that I'm standing in the middle of the stage and
Yeah.
not doing anything. And so yeah, but no, it was so cool. It was so great. And I remember, people who I didn't know at all congratulating me on making, the whole crowd silent.
Nice.
And yeah, I wish that everybody had such a
Such
positive
experiences, right?
experience with
Yeah.
public speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, those positive experiences, and then the crowd coming up to you and congratulating you, it motivates you even more, and then you're like, you know what, I got this. This is piece of cake.
Yeah, exactly.
So here it says you're also a brand developer and you help find your values and
Yeah.
create goals. So how do you go about doing that?
Yes. So it is a long process.
Mhm.
It's not happening in the
Oh
day.
no.
No, that's some people actually think that, oh yeah, is this brand development? So I'm like, we just redo my LinkedIn profile or something like that. If you want to redo your LinkedIn profile, we can do that as well
Hmm.
within the process. But first, we do several exercises, and that's where my coaching knowledge is kicking in.
Hmm.
We go through the process literally and through several exercises as well
Hmm.
uh, on on defining the values. So there are plenty of things that people think that it's their values,
Yeah.
but when they start really thinking about it, several things like even career success and money
Hmm.
go on the side to have values like for me, for example, my first main values is creativity, is freedom, and it's my family.
Yeah.
And whatever I do further, it's around those three values. And people realize that, they always think that, yeah, money is important for them, so it's their value.
Hmm.
But then when they start digging in, they realize that actually that is the least important
That's
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, and that they actually cherish the fact of having stability. But stability doesn't mean a steady income. It might mean, have a person you love, have
Yeah.
the ability, to travel a bit or to have a house that they dreamt of,
Hmm.
and that's the stability for them. So we start with values, and then we go further on what kind of message and what things they actually can do. We also analyze their strengths and their weaknesses
Yeah.
and verify, okay, you're in the job right now, but it seems, for example, that you're not so happy with.
Yeah.
Let's verify all those things to create a brand that you can literally sell further as your career brand, as in your next step in the career.
Hmm.
And the great thing that lately I've heard many people saying that each of us is a brand, and that's a true.
Yeah,
And
it is.
even yeah, and even if like some people don't realize it, and I think the first thing is when you realize that you are a brand, and the moment you're going for the interview or going to do business, you are you're bringing this value to people. That means that you have to know what you're actually bringing there,
Yeah.
and that is something when people realize that, okay, so I actually don't want to work in this, but how I change.
Hmm.
Let's start being true to yourself. Let's be authentic. Let's be you.
Yeah.
And as in life example from my own experience. I'm a person who's very energetic, bubbly, and I always wear colors. It's like the red shoe is one of the things, but I always have colors around me. And in finance world, it's not so good to have too many colors.
It's not appreciated.
It's not appreciated. And so, like, if you have, like, just earrings which are colorful, but they are small and not noticeable, that's okay.
Yeah.
But when you come in a suit which is, I don't know, a blue suit, for example, or you suddenly have even a black suit, but you have a really red shirt that stands out, people are looking and say, "Oh, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing it? Why you stand down?"
Yeah.
Because that's me.
That's your personality. You want to be loud.
Exactly,
You want to be, and that also makes you feel strong and confident.
Exactly, and that's my part of confidence. That's my part of being me, simply. So I can't dump colors. And okay, I have my dark days, and I'd rather just wear black or gray. But I think it's also like the more gray it's outside. Now we're getting into winter.
Yeah.
The more gray it's outside, the more colors I wear.
You want to add color to the gray weather.
Exactly. It doesn't mean that in the summer that I'm turning, all my clothes are black or gray.
Yeah.
I still wear colors, but I think, like most people, I don't stop doing that in the fall and in the winter.
Yeah.
But again, coming back to this branding, I know this is a part of me, and this branding thing is literally for me, helping people to realize that it is the most important thing is that they know who they are, that they know how to present that, and
absolutely
that they are authentic, and they are willing to live the life as they should, instead of getting in the box of this or that. Yeah,
that's amazing. That was a really inspiring story, and how you go about getting everybody up and engaged. So you mentioned that one of your hobbies that you wish, or you practice half of it in your job, is acting. Tell me a little more about that. I recently joined a group called backstage.com, and it is the premier location where professional actors actually go to find their casting calls. That's where the casting calls are put on for like House of Cards, TV show, movies, and stuff like that. So I joined backstage.com, and I got to do a small part in a commercial 2 weeks ago. And
wow.
it felt
Congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, it's little commercials for a patient. I'm pretending to be an old patient, and I've got bad knee. So it was pretty funny, but it was a good experience, and I got to meet some of the other actors that were there who were also acting, and I started talking to them and getting to know them a little bit. So backstage.com is one of the apps that's got that casting calls. So tell me a little bit about your experience, and what are you planning to doing to actually get more into it?
During my life, I already did a bit of acting.
Oh, nice.
It was not in commercial or not in movies. Maybe I will get there eventually.
Sure.
I hope. I'm actually, since I was a kid, I fell in love with the theater. And so the case was that my mom was a teacher. So whenever she was going with her class to the theater, she was always taking me along. And I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
She often organized also going backstage to meet the actors and talk to them. And I was always looking at them like with the this goofy eyes, and like, oh my God, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, there was a group of this kind of the small group of theater for kids, where we could exercise things. And we had a very cool guy who was teaching there. And one of the things he really liked creating stuff on his own, and he was creating simply plays for us that we could really engage.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the great things was he combined a couple of Shakespeare's plays in one, and we had so it was something like, Romeo and Juliet / Macbeth / Hamlet / several other things that he
Nice.
managed to combine together,
Yeah.
which created a funny story that kids could act, and we could learn also a bit more the momentums, of especially in Hamlet and in Macbeth. Amazing things that I really like to. I liked at that time to read and watch. And so I think he was engaging me already with the, especially with the things like the postures that you do, that you should manage your role and be into the role and prepared.
Yeah.
It was my first lesson and my first touch with acting, with presentations. And always every year we had a performance for all the other kids from the neighborhood, which was also very cool, because again, I'm on the stage and I exercise, and I'm not afraid of going out in front of people. And then I stopped it for quite a while. I think that's high school and university time. It was the time when I was going, for the idea, like what to do with life, whether that's okay. Then it was the idea of finance coming in. So I forgot a bit about the theater.
Yeah.
But so just so to tell you, I'm originally coming from Poland, and I actually moved to Luxembourg 12 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And the first thing is, you come to the totally strange country, you don't know people around. I wanted to know more people than just those friends that I met at work.
Yeah.
So I found a girl who was creating a Polish amateur theater here. And we were doing acting in Polish for the Polish audience here. And I think the first play that we did was was a quite grand play at that time, written by the Polish guy. It was called Testosterone. That was, in the Testosterone play, you had 7 characters, which were only men.
Oh, interesting.
And in our group, we only had 2 guys. So it was very funny, because we managed to actually, ladies becoming guys eventually. And the funniest experience ever, if people were asking me, how do I manage to get on the stage? I'm like, I'm not actually getting on the stage, because they were pulling my character on the stage. So even if I don't want to, I will be pulled out. So that's no problem. And then it just goes. And it was a very funny thing. And I remember audience was confused at the beginning, because they saw women there, but they knew the play and what it's about, more or less. And then like, but those women are guys. Yeah. And so it was very cool experience. But we literally turned around, the old Roman and Greek theater, when only men were playing and men were playing women. Yeah. Here it was the inversion of that.
It's an inversion. Well, you want to know something funny?
Tell me.
The character of Mickey Mouse at Disneyland.
Yeah.
That walks around with the costume.
Yeah.
Is actually a girl inside.
Oh.
Because men, they're usually not at that height. Usually men, have taller heights. They're more, they have more body mass. But women, they're usually, they're skinnier and they can fit inside a costume.
Yeah, we can fit into that. Yeah.
So that's so.
Oh, but that's awesome.
Yeah. So all over the world, wherever there's Disneyland, inside a Mickey Mouse costume,
there's a girl.
There's a girl.
That's great. Good for us women. Like, yes, we can do it. We can be a man. No, but it's like I literally had yesterday the discussion about gender equality and all those things, and it's a very funny thing. It's for me, it's a very important topic, but it's also a topic that sometimes people tend to overwrite in the way that it's only about women and women being, that we need to be like men. but I don't want to be like men.
You
There are
don't have
certain
to.
things that,
No,
I can use the hammer, but from the other side, I
absolutely.
still like when my husband opens the door in
Yeah,
front of me, and
exactly.
it's so beautiful.
Yeah. So, a really good connection of mine, Juliet Herman on LinkedIn, she had a post.
Hmm.
She listed all of the qualities of men and all of the quality of
Hmm.
women. And the
Yeah,
post was, lessons from women and men on LinkedIn.
yeah,
And, lessons from women is, they're intelligent, creative, innovative, combine leadership with team player spirit,
yeah.
collaborative, collaborative and willing to share knowledge, multitask aficionados, nurturing and recognizing greatness in others, tremendous
Hmm.
inner strength, persistent and able to break through barriers, unstoppable courage, communication gurus. And the lessons from men were that, strong and willing to go up against someone twice their size,
Yeah.
stand up for their ideas, they're pragmatic, gifted problem solvers, perseverant
Hmm.
despite the odds, laser focused, practice fake it till you make it,
Yes.
competitive and believe they will win, and they visualize success. So I was like, wow, that is a really great list. And both lessons
Yeah,
from men and women, they're different. And that's absolutely the nature of men and women. That doesn't mean that they're not equal. It means that they both are compatible for each other. They
exactly.
fill in the gaps the other doesn't have, doesn't that lacks. and
Exactly.
and that's the power of equality. So I will recommend that you connect with her. She's an awesome, practice partnership
I'll
creator.
definitely check her out.
Yeah, yeah, and
No, I also think that it's very awesome. We should not think about, if we talk about gender equality, it's not about pushing ourselves to be, I don't want to be like men, as I said, and I don't want
yeah,
men being like me.
exactly.
It's There are so many things that I can learn from the guys around me, and
Yeah.
I also find I find also very a lot of values that
Hmm.
I can learn from other women around me. We can That's why each of us is totally different, and not only gender wise, but also each person is different and has other
Absolutely.
qualities to share.
Yeah.
And it is so awesome to to be able to talk to each other. And I have to tell you, like, for me,
Hmm.
my latest LinkedIn experience
Hmm.
are amazing. I'm connecting with people from all over the world.
Yeah.
I have plenty of connections, and which are not only connections
Yeah.
on the number,
Yeah.
but they are becoming good communication people. That
Hmm.
we start talking. Of course, we don't talk 24 hours a day, but
No, no,
we talk from time to time. It's like with you. We've connected. We
exactly.
started talking, and then it's like, yeah, by the way, let's do this recording. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
why not?
Why not?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what for me is all about. That finding equality, but finding maybe not only equality, but finding learning points from each other, and being
Yes.
able to learn and being able to grow. And yeah, that's so great that the world is so different, and
Exactly.
we can really grow thanks to other people who are around us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this was an excellent, we had an excellent chat, and I really appreciated you taking the time out of your day and coming on the podcast and teaching us a thing or two about how to be better at, how to be not so boring when you're giving presentations.
Yeah. And
Where
how
can
to be better at being you, simply.
Yes, absolutely. We all bring our own qualities and our own personal experiences to the world. So tell the audience, where can they reach you? Where can they get in touch with you?
I do have a website. So on the side of finding me on LinkedIn under my family name, that's a bit
Hmm.
complicated. My
Hmm.
first name is Katy, Katy, and my
Hmm.
surname Dyzewska.
Okay.
It's written Dyzewska.
Hmm.
I also have a website where you can find me at Katy D, edutainer.com.
Awesome.
And there are my contact details, my email. You can reach me at any time, preferably actually by email, and then we
Yeah.
can. I'm very happy to schedule with people the virtual coffee and have a chat and see if there is a way that we can work together, and if I can help people being a better speaker, being a better leader, and build their awesome brand.
Fantastic. That is perfect. I'll be sure to include the links to your website and the link to your LinkedIn on the show notes.
That would be wonderful.
And then we'll share a blurb and a we'll share the blurb about the podcast on LinkedIn and Instagram as well, so people can reach you
That's awesome.
from the many different social media networks that we have available.
I'm actually very excited for people to hear it, and even for myself to hear the full conversation. It's so cool. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
It's been amazing. I think the whole journey that I've been on since a couple of years, it's getting me to a very happy and very positive point in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that you're a part of that journey. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for your time. In the next episode, we get to speak with Marilyn King. She's a message maker, entrepreneur, personal branding expert. She's the founder and CEO of The Expert of Choice, where she helps engage with consultants, coaches, and entrepreneurs. So tune in again tomorrow.